Brought to you by the 1978 podcast. Billy Barnes.
What up, what up?
Good to see you again.
Part 2.
I'm not even going to tell you I was just recording. Just go.
Just go. I like it. just whoa, we go. Oh, okay, cool. Exactly. So what's going on?
How were the fights?
Good, man. Good. Very exciting and very, lived up to the hype.
Cool.
That one Archuleta fight and Patrick Mix fight was fucking good. Did you watch that?
I didn't. I feel like I'm one of those people who paying for a fight, it's like it could be complete waste of money or like the best money you've ever spent. You know what I mean? So I'm on the fence. So I end up just watching like the highlights and stuff and just the scores, the finals.
Well, I think for Bellator, it's you can find it on, if you have basic cable, like Paramount Network. We just signed with CBS Sports, so there's a way to check that out, and then also with Showtime. So I think we haven't done a pay-per-view for a minute.
Oh, really?
So you just have to find the right place on basic cable to check it out.
Oh, I haven't had basic cable in a minute.
That's me too. Yeah. So that's why I'm always like, I'm surprised
they're relying on basic cable for an outlet, considering how many people have cut the cord.
Yeah, I think CBS Sports has its own app, so I think that's good. I think Showtime does, but as far as the Paramount Network, I think they might have. Everybody's got an app now, so you can.
That's what I was thinking. I was noticing it's like it's almost like a revolution. So there's like channels. There's ABC, NBC, like everyone before you could get entertainment on the internet. So you watch TV and it's all essentially the same. So it's like then it was channels, and then it goes kind of through this metamorphosis, and now it's like everyone has their app. It's essentially a channel, and then so you pay for this app and this app, but now you're just paying a la carte. So if you get them all, you're paying way more than you would have if you had cable, but somebody's going to come along and say, I know, I'll put all these apps in a package and sell them for a discount. And it's like back where we started.
And it comes with a satellite dish that we drill into your you already have 3. They don't come and get them. Oh, let me just put a 4th one up just so our brand's up there.
Yeah. So your roof looks like the top of a battleship or CIA headquarters.
Absolutely. Fuck man. So what have you been up to?
Where is she? My wife.
Dude, I'm trying to go back to work. I mean, I've taken a couple jobs now, and this mask thing at work, dude. You the same thing, I'm assuming, but we have to test. So we test every day, swab, and they jam that thing in your brain, and then you get temperature, wristband every day. Mm-hmm. And we got to wear the mask all day. And after a couple hours, that mask, bro, I'm pro mask, but after a couple hours, I'm just at the hot air, like it's long. And I work long days. You work long. It's like 12 hours or more. And after a while, I'm just like I go way outside of the parking lot, take 5, and just pull it down because I'm like I just need to breathe normal air and not feel like I'm breathing in the air I just exhaled.
Yeah.
And everyone's got the mask, and it's like you got this person that's in charge of COVID. She's like a Nazi, he or she is policing, and people are getting ejected. Like one guy got ejected because he just kept pulling it down, whereas like this, where his nose is, it's like I get it. What's the point if your nose is exposed and they don't put the kibosh? Somebody else is like, well, if he's not going to wear his, I'm going to wear mine down. And then there you go. And it goes on and on.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just fucked. It could be a lot worse. We could be, in a 4-hour line waiting to get water. Yeah. Which is, thank God. But it's.
And even when you get close to the edge of the water, there's a crocodile waiting there to take you under. And then if you survive the crocodile, you then have to scoop the water and then walk another 4 miles back.
These poor people.
It's wild.
Wherever they are, wild. There's like 2-mile long line for fuel. And then once you get there, you're only allowed to take a gallon or something. or water. You know, so it could be a hell of a lot worse. It's just one of these things. Work comes to a total complete stop. Then you don't do shit and you stay home hiding from people for 5-6 months. Yep. When you go back, it's a whole different routine. Everything's different.
Yep.
Can't put this there. You can't touch this, and the actor can't. You can't have the props in here because if they touch it, then you can't touch it. And if you have to get this certain spray, and it has to be sprayed offset and kept covered, and no one touch it, and then handed back. It's like 20 more steps to do the thing that used to be one step. Just do the thing. Yeah. Now there's like 9, bunch more layers of stuff, and you're protecting from potential COVID.
How quickly do you guys get your results back after you test in the morning?
It depends which I guess company did the test. Mm-hmm. I don't know the difference between tests. They've told me that, on one job it's like, well, this test it's a swab in the nose, but it's an 80% accuracy. And then this guy says, well, this one's like 88% accuracy, but they stick it in your nose deeper. And then you got to wait 20 minutes for this one because they're doing it in like a motorhome that's like a mobile lab.
Yeah.
But then the other one, it can't tell you for 48 hours because they have to send it off somewhere. So it's kind of, there's no set thing where, it's just kind of an up in the air thing still. No, at least with production, with unions, no one really knows exactly who's responsible yet.
Yeah.
So production's just saying, well, I guess it's going to fall in our lap for now until there's some specific, OSHA or the, there's a group that when you join unions, you have to every 2 years update your card and make sure you're up to speed on your safety classes and stuff. Yep. And the organization that takes care of the safety classes is called Contract Services, Safety Fund, whatever it is. And we just call it Contract Services. So you go there, you take your classes, and you get your proof that you know how to do your job. And that basically it's formed by the producers and the studios as a form of proof that when we come to their stage or their place of work, that we've proven that we, essentially have signed off that we know what we're doing, so that if we chop our toes off on something, we can't point the finger at them.
Smart.
Yeah, smart on their part with their lawyers, definitely. Yeah. And it's good. It is good to have for everyone, too, because there's some pretty basic stuff that people don't think about, and you just got to be aware of scissor lifts and cranes sticking out and people moving equipment around and liquid on the ground and chemicals you can't touch and can touch and different. You're not allowed to touch certain electrical things that turn power on because there has to be a 3-step process or whatever. There's a lot of things you don't think about on the day-to-day that you need to be aware of, especially on a stage or on a lot where there's a lot of moving parts. If you're working at a house and shooting in a bedroom in some house in the valley, there's not as much going on, but some sets on a big green screen with a platform that does this and hydraulics, there's all kinds of you just don't even go in there, so it's TBD. I think it's going to come down to some new entity. It's going to be a new job. There's going to be a COVID safety officer or something to that effect. And that person will be part of whatever union, the set medics. So some person sits there all day, and if something goes crazy, they jump in. Well, they're part of Local 80, which is the grips. Now, I don't know the backstory on how medics became part of the grips, which are like lighting and grip, they just hang lights.
Yeah.
But it was a union to join to attach them to, and so there's going to be probably some union that they're going to attach the COVID safety professional to. And they'll be part of that union, and then when someone hires them, they'll get their union benefits, and they'll have to take classes on how to do all that shit, and it'll be OSHA certified or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's wild.
But it's completely up in the air. So they just hire some person that's that works at a lab that tests people for diseases, and because they know how that process works, they just say, okay, you want to do a freelance gig? So they hire them as a freelancer at whatever the rate is, and they show up, clock in on their time card, and stay on set and spray shit and keep people from taking their mask off, and do essentially what they would do at a lab with people showing up to get tested for measles or whatever.
Yep.
You know, they say, oh, I've been coughing a lot. You know, like they're just doing what they do at the lab on set. Yeah. But they don't know what set, like the person that's in charge of COVID, they have to wait and make sure that they're supposed to make sure that people are wearing gloves when they interact with actors of any age. And they're not, like, they can't have 3 people touch a prop that this actor is now going to hold or like comb their hair with or whatever. They can't have 3 people barehanded touch that and then the actor gets it. It has to be like chemical. It has to be sanitized right before the actor. So this COVID person is there on set to make sure that this process and these safety protocols are being followed. But they don't know how set works, so they're standing in front of the camera, and the camera guy's like, "Can you move?" And they're like, "Oh, whoa, what?" You know, they're like completely oblivious to how this whole world works. They know how their job works, and they're watching that, but so they're having to kind of like find their way, you know.
That's fucking crazy.
It's a weird. It feels like it used to be the Wild West, the non-COVID life.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if it was a like a kid's book or like some sort of, you know, old wives' tale or something, you tell people, yeah, back in 2020, everything came to a crashing halt. No one worked. The streets were empty for months. You know, it's going to be this, you know, woo woo, you know, this, the
tumbleweed go by.
Yeah, and then slowly people began to work, but then the COVID became an issue. No one knew what to do. Everyone wanted to take their you know, it's like how somebody that lived through, I don't know what. The only thing I could think to compare this to is like another disease, but the only other disease situations were way worse, like Spanish flu or maybe a war. I keep thinking about 9/11 and how horrible that was, and it was sudden and horrible, but it's completely different because that brought us together and there was no sickness. This has just divided everyone.
Very much so. What's crazy about it is, like, I've more than ever in my life, I've definitely been more involved in politics, which is very, very interesting because had you asked me 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had a finger on the pulse, but was never really like following. Well, I guess as much as we can with both sides of the media. But since this administration, it's so crazy how more actively I am, you know, paying attention to politics and it's crazy. It's crazy to think like the backdrop of we have a pandemic, but just trying to stay safe and look out for each other has now all of a sudden become, you know, politicized and teams are being. And what's even more crazy is like people that I've considered my friends for so long and who I never really talked politics with, all of a sudden are just like super anti-maskers.
Dude.
And so there's this weird thing that happens within me that, like, yes, I love you as a friend and in person, but there's this little thing that hits that makes me kind of step back and go, what? Like, and then it questions myself, like, is the information that I'm getting correct? Is the information they're getting correct? And then it's like just a bunch of confusion. And instead of addressing it, it's like, I just kind of try to bury it, but it's been very weird.
Yeah. I have a friend I went to high school with, and we went through a lot of crap together growing up, like, you know, maturing essentially. And boy, from that time when I knew him to now, he's literally a different person. But I mean, he wasn't. He did these. It's like you were saying. It's these changes that surfaced and they emerged through this presidency and COVID.
Yeah,
it's like the real person came out, or at least their true opinions came out, or something to that effect.
100%.
Like
the veil's been lifted.
Yeah, I'm not naming names, but this guy was like bong smoking, pothead, Metallica, Nirvana, hangout, just chill dude. You know, grows up. Okay, you know, we get a job. We don't party. We work, family, and then here comes this presidency, and it's like the guy's 180 on everything. He thinks California's a joke. He thinks that masks are a joke. He thinks that Democrats are a joke. And he posts these ignorant fucking things on Facebook. Like, I can't remember. But he's like mocking. He's like crazy crazy or whatever he's saying. Crazy California. It's like altering the word California into crazyfornia or something like that. You know, and making fun of California and making fun. And it's like, dude, you basically, you were a Democrat.
Yeah.
And you got work in California and at jobs that had stock options and bought a house because of a job that you had in a California-based company.
Yeah.
And now you think California is a joke. Well, go sell your fucking house then, or give it away if it's a joke. You know, it's like, and the mask thing. I forget what he posted, but it was something about his opinion and it not being real, or it's all overhyped or something. So and so he's got his little friends, you know, and it's like when he posts, it's almost like there's these 2 or 3 people that he knows that just whatever the hell this guy says, they're just like, yeah, that's right. No
Straight
matter
tribalism.
what. And so he posts some stupid shit. And I say something like, so it was the mask thing, and I say something like, well, what? It was like he said something like quoting some doctor about it can't save you or something like that. And I say to him, I said, what's your opinion? And I put your like in caps. What's your opinion? You're saying the mask, but what's your opinion? And he never responds, and his little friends click the laugh icon on my. It's like, so you don't want to talk about it. You just want to post, and then like you have nothing else to say, and your little friends are just little cronies. It's like, I forget it. So I didn't block him, but I just stopped.
Muted.
Muted
that.
You know, they don't have real science or real answers to back it up, but it's sure fun for these people to jump on the bandwagon and throw gasoline on the fire, essentially, you know?
Yeah. My thing is this, like, regardless of what I believe about, I guess, or what I even decide that I think I know about COVID, if wearing a mask is going to help like my homie next to me or just anybody within around me, it's just like out of basic human nature that fuck it. It's uncomfortable. It sucks. But if it means that as a collective whole, we can actually defeat something and come together, then fuck it. I'm going to do it. Like, I want to think for the greater good of my fellow person, you know, giving people respect. And when I see that, it's like, I have to question, is it just a disrespecting? Is it an entitlement thing? Is it something that I don't know if they're part of that ego that needs to feel that chaos, that they're seeking that as a quick injection into that or something. But it's just, I understand it's uncomfortable, but it's again, looking out for your homie and just, I don't know, if everybody just took a little bit more care of the homie next to them, I think we would, even if it was 10% better, it would be fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So when I see that, there's something in my heart that just goes, man, you don't care, or you're so in your own belief. Like, I get it. We're all super divided and there's so much going on, but it's like, at the end of the day, let's think about our fellow person, you know? Yeah. And
you see that video? The kids, couple of kids, looks like they're like 21. They go to Huntington Beach and have the box that says free masks. I think I
saw that.
You see it?
I saw that. Yeah.
They're just straight up trying to give people free masks, and the one guy gets full on pissed, like as if you had just poked him or done something really offensive by offering a free mask.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell it gets to that point. How the hell does a mask set you off?
Because it's like, it's not about the mask. It's what it represents. It represents that quick fix of allowing your anger to get out and your pain body and your ego to get that injection of importance. It's like, it's like my way of being macho and feeling in control I don't know. And I keep meaning to have a deep conversation with somebody who's a super anti-masker, but
I wish we could call one right now. Just be like, what's up?
Yeah.
If I knew someone that would answer, I'd call them right now, dude. Just be like, tell us where you stand and why you're right. Like, prove your shit right now.
Yeah. You know? And again, like, I don't claim to know everything. Like, the media that I'm getting is probably just as skewed as everybody else's. So I'm just trying to deal with what information that I am getting, and regardless of conspiracies or what people think. Again, I just keep saying, just look out for the person next to you, man. Put a mask on, dude. Like, and it sucks. I work long hours as well, and it's like it's constantly on my face. My nose is getting all chafed. My ears are getting all chafed. Yeah. But what's been interesting is I've been really trying to learn how to properly breathe, how to properly get good rhythmic breathing going on. And this has been a weird learning lesson of how to be in an uncomfortable situation and still keep a steady breath. And it's been this little game that I've been playing as I'm walking and only breathing in and out through my nose and keeping it nice and circular. And just, it's been really interesting. I don't know, the more mindful approach, the more, I don't know, there's always lessons to be learning even in shittier situations.
That's a good place to be mentally, to just approach it with just some positive sort of angle rather than just fighting it.
Yes, because all I'm seeing right now is negativity, and it literally like fucks up my patterns, my everyday flow. And so I've been taking a good break from social media for the most part, other than like try to limit myself to Twitter. But man, it's hard. We got to look for some positive in all of this.
Yeah. Facebook is just a fucking minefield of just BS right now. And I've deleted, I've what do you call it, unfollowed or blocked, whatever, quite a few people that are just outright constant, just BS. And still, you click on there, just, I used to think of Facebook, my opinion of it used to be, it's sort of this way to connect to the people you don't see very often, but that hasn't even been the case lately. It's just, it's this recurring, regurgitated thing of like the same stuff. You see one person, something that's newsworthy, 8 people post the same thing, and it's just like,
yeah.
And when you see it, when in Facebook, the way it deals with it, so you see the post, and then in order to sort of unclutter your timeline, I think Facebook shows the post, and then it's just like sort of under that is a list of people who posted that.
Smart.
And it's like, so what am I supposed to do? Click like 8 times in a row on the same thing? Like, I like that you said that. I like that you said that. I like that you said. I was just like, okay, if all these people are just regurgitating a piece of news, all Facebook seems to be is like a retweet of the world. And it's like, I'm just going to text people and say hi and just go to the source.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a wild thing right now. I don't even know. I got rid of Facebook a long time ago.
Oh, did you?
Just because, I probably 10 years now.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
I couldn't do it. But yeah, I'm feeling the same way with Twitter. And I think that's what's been trying to actually kind of getting me down a little bit with you see one story and it's like, 5 other people telling the exact same story.
I don't get on Twitter that often. I kind of come and go, and I haven't really mastered it. I don't really understand it completely yet. Mm-hmm. But it mostly seems to be, it's not as personal, at least my feed, as Facebook. So I end up seeing just people promoting their own shit. That's all I end up seeing, which I do too, but that's all it is like, check out my thing, click on my thing, add my thing, buy my thing,
Yeah. Watch my thing.
I wonder what the next, at some point, I think we're all going to evolve past Facebook and Twitter. And I really wonder what that'll be. I mean, it's too big of an idea to go away. There will always be some type of Facebook because it makes so much money with advertising and stuff. So there's gonna always be something like that, especially with more people being born and the population of the world going up. But Facebook can't last forever, and Twitter can't last forever. They're gonna last a long time. They could last a really long time. But if they went away, let's say Facebook, Zuckerberg totally shit the bed and there was a complete disaster and he shut it down. Congress, whatever, some really bad side. So they say it's a wrap. See you, Zuckerberg. Doesn't matter how much money you have. Doesn't matter how much lawyers. It's a wrap, right? Then
awesome.
What would happen? Like, what would happen? Because I mean, would someone else buy it? I guess, and keep it alive at that point, and just stay. It wouldn't. It could, something like that with that much income potential. It's just too big of a train to stop. I would think.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have to transform or get rebranded, and then it would just keep going, to some other company's hands, I guess. Because no one's going to throw that away. They're going to go to Congress and say, "Look, it's too big. It's too much money making. Let's make a deal. Come on, If it was shitty little run by 3 people and there was 10,000 users, it would just get kicked to the curb and forgotten about, right? 100%. But something that big, it's just not in this, not in a what do you call our economy? A for profit,
Yeah.
What's the word? I'm stupid. Everyone's out there to make a dollar. The type of economy, whoever, if somebody's listening to this right now, they're screaming it like, "Duh, it's this." Anyway,
I'm not getting
not capitalist. Is that it? Yeah, capitalist. So we live in it. I think I was already thinking that. So capitalist, right? So because this is capitalist market and capitalist environment, and something like Facebook, if Mark Zuckerberg shit to bed, it would just be like, all right, I'll buy it, 100 billion, some Fox or something or whoever, Disney would buy it. And they'd just make it a Disney Facebook, some shit like that for $4 trillion, billion, quintillion, million, zillion dollars. And
Zuckerberg, it'd be amazing to sell something to Disney. That would be incredible.
I heard Disney really pinches pennies. I mean, obviously they didn't with Star Wars and Lucas and all that, but for people that have worked for it at my level, at a crew level, Disney is fucking pinching pennies.
Really?
That's what I've heard. I haven't worked for them myself.
So does that mean only paying the bare minimum?
Whatever the lowest contract they can get away with, that unions will agree with, at least for union shoots.
Yeah.
$5-10 an hour lower than normal.
Yeah.
Why? You're making a movie that's going to make millions. It's like
you're going to get toys. You're going to get all that.
It's going to be a franchise that'll roll out for decades. You're going to make so much, and you want to pay us $10 an hour less than normal. There's no excuse. They just want to pinch wherever they can.
That's a bummer to hear.
I'm sure they still pay their Tom Hanks, $20 billion, $20 million. I'm sure he's getting his.
Can't pay that guy's set for life.
Oh, jeez. That's one thing I've always wondered about. These people that have done either big enough work or enough work where their residuals probably are way more than enough to survive on, and more than they would even. They probably say no to jobs because it's like, I'm going to make more money if I don't do anything than your job.
Yes.
Like Seinfeld, the Seinfeld show. I mean, those guys.
Forever.
I don't know what it's got. They have to be making 6 figures a year at least, still, if not more.
Think of someone like Hans Zimmer, who's scored fucking every movie you can think of. Every fucking movie that is dope, Hans Zimmer is attached to it. It's like that guy monthly must get a $200K check from residuals.
Yeah, I'm sure he was on getting points off at least some of the big ones.
Yep.
And every time
does the main composer usually get points? That's just per project negotiation, right?
I think for someone like that, and once you've done a couple movies with, once you do Inception and then you've got this look, I'm Hans Zimmer. I've got this sound,
Yeah.
And you go to the meeting for the next movie, and you're like, look, Nolan, this movie's going to be huge. I don't want you to give me $500,000. I want you to give me $200,000 and 2 points, or a point, or a half a point, because that half point is worth way more than he's on a Nolan movie after it goes to Netflix and it goes to Amazon for the next 10 years. He's going to make more money off a point than he would off of
And typically, do they do that? Are they open to stuff like that? Do you know?
I really couldn't tell you. I haven't been at the table. but I know that people that have name brand recognition like that, yeah, because they
The Rock probably gets forever.
He gets probably a lot of points. He's a brand of himself. I mean, it's
exactly.
He's
done so good at that.
Yeah,
dude, he's
crazy to think about.
Did you ever watch Ballers?
A little bit of it, not a lot.
I liked. I stumbled upon that show on a flight over to the UK, and just got sucked in. Yeah. I mean, it's like Entourage. I mean, it's the people saying Doug. What is it?
Doug Allen. Oh, Doug Allen created that too.
Yeah, his name's attached to it, so it totally makes sense that it's got that same vibe. But as soon as I saw the first episode, I was like, "This is awesome." I love and Rock. The Rock is just dope, man.
I think the only thing that kept me from getting completely biting in is the sports thing, because I don't know sports super well. So like the lingo and all the behind the scenes about sports, it lost me a little bit. But when these guys are like trying to become like, Entourage, like that to me, not only do I get it more, but also in the back of my mind, it's like, how fun would it be to just be fucking, flailing around Hollywood doing whatever you want with money. That'd be anybody who would think that's a fun, like, imagine thing to be to watch a TV show and just let it go.
That would be amazing, at least for one day. Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, even though I'm not a big NFL football fan, I definitely it was cool to see. Just that I've always been a fan of Jerry Maguire, so it kind of follows that. It's a new age Jerry Maguire style. So
what is The Rock, like a quarterback or something, or is he?
He used to be, I believe, a tight end, and had a prosperous career in the NFL, and then kind of I think got some head trauma that kind of forced his hand to retire, I believe. So instead of staying idle, he decides to get a job as an agent for one of the bigger sports agent companies, or it kind of builds into that. Anyways, but he ends up being an Ari Gold, but a cooler version and not as brash. But
that was a fun character, Ari Gold.
Yeah, I love Ari Gold.
Silliness.
Oh man, and you watch one episode and you realize like that guy would get Me Too'd every single day of the week, man. The shit that he would say
in the show, or
well, his character, the way he talks to girls, the way he talked to what's his name, his assistant.
When did that show run? What years?
I think it was like 2000. I want to say like 2003 to 2007, around there.
So probably made it out before the Me Too and all this like heavy like 100%. Cancel culture got real.
But I mean, like oh man, I'm just saying, if he was a real character, that dude would have been every day, man. That's crazy.
I think that character and the way he played it, was it Jeremy something?
Jeremy Piven. He's so dope. I love that dude.
Yeah. He,
It's time for the staff meeting.
Oh, joy.
And what are we working on today?
Kissing our employees' asses so no work gets done and we don't get sued.
Are you being sarcastic?
I wonder, I wonder is how the process. So when you see like the script goes out, they read it, they come in, they set up and they go into it. And let's say they do 5 takes. I wonder if it stayed for this show with the Ari dialogue, if it stayed from the script, or how far away it went that Jeremy took it with his character, and like what part of that is the script written and what part of that is just him coming
creating
up
the character
being
himself.
That character in the moment and like bantering and like feeling it out and getting used to that moment, on set in that office and whatever the thing is they're going and talking about, and ad-libbing or whatever. I always wonder that. I know you can see a lot of like Will Ferrell stuff when you watch behind the scenes. He just fucking will just start going and come up with shit for like 20 takes. He'll go do another one and he'll come up with something different. Like they just let him go because you never know, you might strike gold with something crazy funny, like
damn, that's wild that he can do that. Is there a video of that on YouTube of him doing shit like that?
Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
You see.
Oh man, I love when you actually see like an artist who's truly perfected his craft, and
what's like
seeing
got
something like that. It's like undeniable that this dude is a fucking professional at what he does, man.
I think he's funny enough to so many people that the producers are like, okay, let's give him another 5 minutes with this scene and see what happens, because it's worth. Because if he says something that could make the movie just ridiculous, like.
Do you think he gets a producer role for that kind of involvement, or any kind of more?
I don't know. Maybe I'd have to look it up. I mean,
because it seems like he's always attached from some sort of producer level.
But they give these name people producer credit just because they bring like their like they'll get a producer credit because they made a phone call and told their friend that's a comedian that, hey, you should be in this movie, because the producer didn't know that guy. That through Will Ferrell, he gets a phone call to him, and that contact, they say, okay, we'll give you a producer credit. And it was a phone call. Like, it could be that simple.
I have a question. When you see a film where... What is it?
Oh, no, say what you were going to say.
When you see a film where the lead actor is also the director, I've never seen anything behind the scenes of that. And I'm wondering, do they call action from the scene? They get in the scene and they're like, okay, I'm directing. Okay, camera up, sound good, action. And then he does it. And then
I think it's probably case by case, but I would say that in that scenario, you probably have a first AD and a DP that you trust enough to kind of carry that role a little bit or share it in some way. Because you can't be saying, okay, everyone ready, and be in this character.
Yeah.
You just got to go with the character, look back at the playback, and say, all right, let me do it one more time. Let's just move over here, change it. But you can't be a full-on director mode and then somehow snap and sit down and be in front of the camera and then snap. I don't think you can just jump 100% from one to the other. You kind of have to be the lead and just keep an eye on your own performance, the other lead performance, the whatever, but the lighting and the camera, you kind of have to just say, fucking, I can't, you do it, I trust you.
Yeah.
Depending on how big it is, if you're doing a short film with your friends and you're directing and acting, I mean, you probably have to do a lot of directing and all the acting too. So it's just,
that's cool. That would be kind of a fun thing to do.
I just did a podcast with my buddy Nate, who directed and starred and wrote a short film, and he did a pretty good job. I wasn't there for the filming or anything, but the short came out really well. It was called The Interview, and when you go to like a film festival or short films or whatever, not pretty quick when they play one, first 30 seconds, you're like, all right, this is not working. You can just tell like how the camera worked, the light, like they just are not pulling it off. It's not there. Yeah. Maybe it'll improve, but like he did a good job of that film. The interview, like from the get go, it keeps a good pace. There's a story. His character has an arc. It's definitely a talented guy.
Love that. It's funny that you say that. That within the first 10 seconds, I've submitted, I think, 3 or 4 films to Sundance Film Festival and various other film festivals throughout my independent filmmaking life.
Oh yes,
exactly. And never got into, obviously, to Sundance. Never got into some of the
those big ones are hard.
And I was always like, dude, like my shit's not that bad. It's very avant-garde. It's very like improvisational, but it's got character and it's got some feel. And so I remember I used to get so down when I would just always get rejected by this. And then it was funny. I found this hard drive recently before I moved to LA. I was clearing out a ton of shit in my house. Found this hard drive, popped that thing in. I was like, what's on this? And it was all my films, all my short films. And so I started going through one by one. And within the first 10 seconds, I was like, oh, that's why. All right, let's go to the next film. I go to the next film, like, oh. And I'm seeing this, and I'm like, that's why. Oh, okay, I totally understand that. And
it's hard to see the film from somebody else's point of view when you made it and your heart's in it.
Yeah.
And you think of these guys for Cannes or Sundance, they're getting films around the world, so they probably have a bunch of people watching films, and even then, each person's watching dozens or hundreds, and they're probably got to the point, like, you know, just the repetitiveness of it. They press play or punch something in. If it doesn't grab them in the first page worth of like first minute, you know, that first impression is probably has to be strong.
What's funny is I opened up one of my films with a shot of just the camera pointing down at this dirt, you know, road, and it's just this road going underneath, and then the titles, and it's at least a minute-long title intro.
A minute-long intro on a short film of titles of letters.
It was a feature film. It was a feature film, but still, like opening up with a minute of the same shot. And to me, you know, when we're out, like, you know, on LSD or mushrooms or whatever the God knows,
you're
what,
like, I'm
while we're filming it, while I'm filming, it's like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen. And then I go to edit it, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing. You'll so see the grain.
I'm feeling it all.
Yeah, and then it makes the cut, and then you know, you watch back 10 years later.
Dude, I think everything I ever did, that I dragged some friend out to somewhere to shoot, and he's not an actor, and he's like, how long do I have to be here? And I'm trying to get a performance out of this person. And you write it till like 5 a.m. and you sleep for an hour, and then you get all your shit together and you go, and you're like, and you're doing everything. You're setting up a thing on mic, and you set the camera, and you're fucking, you want it to look cool, but you have no control. There's traffic. It's just like fucking so hard to make something happen.
Well, what's funny is I've back then I used to work with pretty patient actors and crew people, so everybody was pretty patient, allowing me to kind of breathe a little bit and kind of work what I could within the scene whenever I was directing or anything. But you know, wait, what was I gonna say? Fuck. Hold on, there's a good thought about that. Shit.
You know what, I'm sitting here thinking, who in the world would slow roast a dog's asshole and serve it to their husband? You would.
You are being awful. What's wrong?
Captain took us off.
Fucking.
What movie is that?
That was like a slower sort of dialogue scene of Other Guys.
I don't think I've seen it. Other Guys.
Oh, you haven't? Oh shit.
Who's in it?
It's Will Ferrell and Marky Mark.
Other Guys.
They're two cops in New York, and it opens up with Sam.
Oh, and he's always trying to be he's on a typewriter, right, or something like that.
He's like he wants to play it safe. He's trying to like not get involved.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I saw that on the airplane as well. I see a lot of these movies on airplanes. I'm on airplanes.
If you move anymore, I'll be forced to shoot. Oh shit! Do it. Taste for lion.
Okay.
This is clip, dude.
We will figure it out. We will use kelp to create air bubbles.
See, you hear that?
Yeah.
So like the director's just feeding him lines. Like they're rolling, and they're getting Mark Wahlberg's reaction to Will Ferrell's thing, but he just goes off on this whole thing about, you know, you can't be like, I forget what it was, but he's going off on like we are a tribe of tuna, and we will come together as a group, and we will form an apparatus to get onto land and hunt you. And it's just like, that couldn't have been written. No one writes, we're going to form an apparatus of tuna, and we are a bunch of tuna, and we're going to form an apparatus to get on land and hunt you, and you're a lion. It's just, on paper, you'd be like, that's psycho, but just coming up with it in the moment.
So how much of that do you think... I've never been on a big set like that of a comedy, really.
I haven't been on a big giant budget comedy like that either.
I'd love to get more behind.
That's why I'm saying, like, it would be really interesting to see when you've got somebody like a Will Ferrell, and you're in this situation that's a comedy, and it's like a big part of that movie relied on Will Ferrell's comedy chops.
Yeah.
You know, him and Wahlberg as the good cop, bad cop. And this whole, like, this whole movie had this, like, air of, like, Will Ferrell's character just not acknowledging reality. He's like, he in college, he ended up pimping some women out. But in his eyes, he wasn't a pimp. He's just helping his friends. And his wife, supposedly, he's like, yeah, that old hag, and she's hot as fuck.
I remember that. And he was just like, whoa. When he came over, when Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Dude, and Wahlberg's leaving, and he's like, bye, Sheila. And he's like, and he kisses her because he can't hold himself back. And he's like, bye, Sheila. I miss you, Sheila. And Will Ferrell's character's like, see you at work tomorrow. And he just says, bye, Sheila. He doesn't even look away from her. It's like those moments, dude. Like, I think that you have to have a script that almost may or may not even have dialogue, dude. It's just like,
yeah, they
both have dinner at home and his wife cooks dinner for them and they talk business. Like, that's I'm sure they had dialogue, but when a movie like that, you see that and you're just like,
yeah. So I'm wondering, as a writer, do you try your best to write a script out, and then you would get like two characters, comedic types? They would give the script a look over and maybe add their notes to it, and then you'd go into filming, I'd imagine, and follow the blueprint, but allow those moments a little bit of
I think all you're saying, you put it in the best way I can imagine, is that the script is just the roadmap.
Yeah,
you got to get those lines. If you can't come up with something better, then they're getting those lines. Yes. Once they get those lines and they have the script as written, unless something comes up better, they get that. Once they got that, if Will Ferrell wants to then go off on a train and just run it into the ground and come up with shit, which probably, a movie like that, I think Will Ferrell probably comes up with something funnier most of the time. That would be my guess.
Hell yeah.
Any movie, comedy, drama, thriller, I think that once the camera is there and the scene and the actors and there's some smoke and the effects and like the lightning, whatever they've got, and the kid is walking by and whatever the thing is, the background actors are doing their thing, and like you start to see it working and come alive, and you're looking at a monitor. You can't know what that moment feels like when you're writing the film. Yeah, so the best thing you can do is just write what feels best, and just know that if you did shoot that scene, that once you've got character A talking to character B at a bar, and you know what they both need to accomplish, and you know what needs to be said, like one of them wants to say, I'm going to do better than you, right? And the other one's has to say, no, I'm going to do better than you. And there has to just be, the purpose of this whole scene is just to raise the tension. Yes. So no matter what happens, story-wise, the thing that we're here for, the reason all these fucking people and lights are set up here, is for these two characters to raise tension in the story and go on to the next part of the story where the tension is higher and they have a collision or something. Because if you don't have any tension later down the line, there's no reason why they'd be going at having an argument. So here we raise tension. Now, what you wrote is character A says, I didn't know they let pussies drink at this bar, And character B says, I didn't know either. What are you doing here?
I am what I eat, or something like that.
But once you get there and you're looking at the monitor and they read it, you go, how about say this now? And then and you say, okay, back up a little farther. Actually, let's have you walk into this. So you just start to massage it, So I think any movie, once you have the lights and everything set up and you're going to do a little rehearsal before you roll, that's when you kind of start to really feel what it's going to be in that particular moment.
I want to experience that so bad. I want to experience working with, a full-on paid crew. Everybody's taken care of. Everybody's in it. Everybody, like a big stuff. I've only PA'd or done like script supervising for that.
Yeah.
But to be in the driver's seat and creating it and flowing and I've never experienced that. And I can't imagine, because right now with my work, with the fighters that we work with, their time is so limited, and they're either cutting weight or they're in deep training, and it's really hard to kind of derail them to get a lot of content that you really, really want.
Oh, because you're getting them on like a little side moment that they have between 10 other things.
Exactly. Or they just finished the round and you're like, yo, let me ask you 3 questions real quick. And then maybe as you want to flow, you're like, I have a better question, but then the round starts like, I got to go back. And I've been working for Bellator for 2 years now and working with fighters like that. And I got so used to that's how things roll. And so recently I was watching a behind the scenes video on YouTube, and you just see the director sitting there and calling the shot. No, let's try doing exactly what you're saying. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine what that would be like to be able to to have that.
I think that experience, though, of you not having much time with these guys is good. Because if you do get a job, get a something on its feet and get some budget, and if you get someone with a name, even though they agree to do your movie, they're still going to have 10 other things going on.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they're going to want to go talk to someone. They're going to want to step off and get on the phone with something. So even though you have them there and they're committed, those moments of like finding that character in that scene are still going to be bookended with, oh, I got to go step away for a second. Or, I mean, if you have someone big.
Yeah.
But then it
like
also.
A Rock.
Yeah, but then I guess I'd have to also say that, you know, one actor might be more respectful than another, and they might give you 100% of their time and not give any time to the phone that day because they're here for this and that's how they roll.
Like a Christian Bale, they're like a Joaquin Phoenix.
Right. Like this is it. They're in it to win it. They're 100% this character. They're not. They don't want anyone interrupting this shit.
I want to work with someone like that.
That's
someday.
the dream. Yeah. You know what? I feel like. I feel like it's almost like fading away. Like P.T. Anderson and Tarantino, and I think, you know, a small handful of other directors still create that environment with their script and their story and the actors they choose.
Like Adam Sandler too.
Yeah. As a director or as an actor?
As usually both, right? He's usually producing, directing as well, or.
I get like the last thing he did was that Uncut Gems. I think he was just acting in that.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the Safdie.
For some reason, I thought he was more involved. But carry on.
Anyway, yeah, it seems like this like sort of organic, true, you know, commitment to filmmaking and story and character is very minimal. Is like it's seen very little now, and I feel like that what I see most of is these sort of roller coaster ride type of things where the movie is being held up by action and set pieces and flashiness.
100%.
You know?
100%. Not enough not a lot of character dives these days.
Yeah.
And I think
not
that's
easy
what
to
drew
do.
me so much to the. Did you see Joker? The Joker?
Yeah. That was one of the last movies that got my blood pumping.
Just the character development.
Yeah, just
so
seeing him
incredible.
running in the streets and that he became the Joker, like, and the character went from this to this, like, or whatever you want to call it. But a character like became it totally. He metamorphosized, not just went out and on a revenge spree or something, but actually altered their state of being and like changed their mind and created a movement of chaotic shit in New York or Gotham, and people behind him, they're saying, yeah, we were all about this. You know, nuts, dude.
I love it. It's so incredible to see. And I watched a 15-minute YouTube video on kind of explaining the arc and everything. And I think it was actually put out by the filmmaker.
Todd Phillips?
Yes. And it was incredible to see what they did to signify that character change when things are more dreary and darker in the beginning, and then all of a sudden the lights become brighter and the colors become more saturated. And
the DP did a lot of made a lot of smart choices with how they moved the camera, how they dealt with the footage in post, and the type of dark and light, and
yes,
his apartment, and then the mom. Yeah, and it's just like he was in this like bad, painful environment, and his whole being, you know, he's like he was primed to become the Joker. You know, it's a great take.
So typically with the DP, then I'm the director. I come up with the idea. I want to shoot in this kind of dreary looking, setting. I pick my DP and say, "This is the look I'm going for," and then they say, "Yes, I can do that," or maybe I can't do that, or
it's a collaboration. I mean, you would probably look for a DP whose work is kind of leans in the direction that you're trying to go. Yeah. Like you might find a DP that likes to shoot in a way where things are darker and you've got a dark film. You're obviously not going to go try to find a DP. So you're a director and you've got your script, and your script is futuristic and dark, right? And and so you're not going to go find and not email the DP who just does sitcoms.
Yeah.
You're going to go with the DP that does feature narratives, like, they're going to have the look that you already know, Yeah. And then you're going to put boards together and stuff like you've done with those images that really show, really close to what you want this thing to look like. Because you can only, with a DP, it's a collaboration. Everyone's a collaboration. With people like the DP producer types that are really heavily involved and they've really got a stake in the whole thing, it's even more so a collaboration. And the DP makes a lot of creative decisions. So the director DP is definitely a collaboration. You got to be friends and you got to get along because you're going to be neck and neck, shoulder to shoulder making this thing happen. And you both have to like the project and like the look. And if I think that if I were directing something and I'm trying to find a DP, aside from wanting to know the DP can make that look, I'm going to want to meet with this person and go, have that coffee or that lunch. And I'm going to want to hear them say things that make me feel like we can bond and we can be friendly.
100.
Because when you're down in the pit and you're down in the trenches and it's like time's running out, there's people everywhere and it's fucking chaos and shit and you're getting it done and the day is running long. That's when it's like you're going to have this minimal, like, it come down to like, can you get along? And he does something that you like because you had to go off and over here and fix the thing and talk. And he just had to roll because he's got to roll because he can't wait anymore because the sun's going. You just got to trust that you're both on the same level, I think. Because you're not going to be able to work things out necessarily at all. You're not going to have time. You just got to be on the level and work that out before you even start shooting.
So does typically the director then choose the DP? Or
probably, I mean, I guess it's whoever's show. Like the DP could have a script and say, I need a great director for that.
I see.
Could be a producer looking for a director DP. I mean, it's so organic, which is one of the reasons I like the world, because it's not just this, it always happens like this. Yes. There's no changes ever. It can kind of formulate wherever,
I like that.
That means that means the best person should and hopefully is there for that job title. It's not like you're in the Soviet Republic and it's like, only Olga shoot films. Olga is only DP. Every movie, Olga. You go find who you want. Thank God, right?
Yeah.
I hope that answers a little bit your question.
Wait, what was that one from? I don't recognize that one.
I hope that answers a little bit your question.
I don't know what it's from, but it's Arnold. I can't remember what movie that's from.
Play the Kindergarten Cop one.
Too obscure to...
What's your name?
Answer the question.
Get your mother.
Where is she?
My wife is
fucking crazy.
Who's your
I
daddy?
need to speak to my wife.
And what does he do?
I'll call you back.
I bet there's a good...
Where are you pulling all these from? You just like a little sound
that's
thing?
a soundboard, yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, it's so organic, it could come together from anywhere. But yeah, anybody, like if it's your show and you're putting it together, that I think the people that you choose to work with and to create that project with, by committing to that and saying, okay, Joe, I want you to be the guy doing the thing, that decision forms the film or the show or whatever, because you just got to know who this person is and what you're entrusting them to do. Because once the ball starts rolling, it's going to be really, really difficult to change that person. You don't want to have to do that.
Hell no. That's crazy.
Did you read about that one of those recent Star Wars movies where the mid run or early run, the directors bounced out and Ron Howard came in?
It wasn't Ryan, right? Johnson?
I forget who left. I think it was 2 directors, if I'm right.
Okay.
Creative differences, which is what they say every time. Who knows? Someone pissed someone off. And but they had been shooting for a while. And if I remember correctly, I feel like I want to say they started over, shot everything over again from the beginning, or whatever they had shot, they reshot because Ron Howard was there, and it's like, all right, let's do this way now, whatever decision.
Fuck, that's
but you know,
crazy.
I mean, I guess Disney can afford it, but you know, you don't want to have to do that if you.
No,
don't
they did the same thing with Rogue One, right? I think they
did. I
think they went back and shot it a lot.
I forget.
I think so. I think it was that. Yeah. I always seem to bring up Rogue One. That is one of the best Star Wars movies.
That
ever.
movie, dude,
is one of the best movies ever.
It's like
so fucking good.
We're married.
It was the best of Arnold. Consider the divorce.
Consider that a divorce. Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's what made you did.
I lied.
That scream.
See you at the party, Richter.
That's one of the best.
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Tumor.
Not a tumor at all.
I love that movie.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Oh, that movie was so good.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Can't get enough.
I love it. I love it.
Can't get.
Even what's it called? What was it? Big? Or what was the one where he had the baby with Danny DeVito?
Twins?
Twins.
Yeah.
Was it Twins? Is that what it was called?
There's a Danny DeVito one, Twins, but then there's a different one where he was pregnant.
Yeah, that one. The pregnant one. But that was like...
I think it was something Christmas or something.
Nah, it was... Oh, fuck.
I love Arnold, but I don't remember the movies that I don't really care about.
No,
I'm like a partial Arnold fan, I guess, huh? I should know them all. It's not Twins. Twins is the Danny DeVito, but the pregnant one is like.
Yeah, the pregnant one.
I don't know.
Damn. Let's see. What's your name and who's your daddy? Or what is it?
Yeah.
What's your...
That's Kindergarten Cop.
That one was really good. Wait, where is it? Junior.
Oh, Junior.
Ah, that movie is so good.
I haven't seen that one in years, dude. Junior.
It's funny when they at the very end, Danny DeVito hides him in that. I think it was like a pregnant lady's retreat way out in the crystals.
In Junior.
In Junior, because they
Danny
were
DeVito was in Junior.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so he was the father he was the doctor that injected him.
Oh, really? Fuck, I didn't realize that.
Oh, man, this movie's good. Anyway, so at the very end, the dean of the college is trying to catch them doing malpractice with their research and try to shut them down. You know, the antagonist who's constantly meddling and whatnot.
Right.
So to hide Arnold and his belly from him, they hit him up in this little, like I said, pregnancy camp for I think for single women or something. And it was like super peaceful and all the lots of love. And they put a wig on him. They put the makeup. They put the pearl necklaces. And there's this scene where I think, if I remember correctly, they're like working out and shit. And he's just like, it's just a great scene. I love Arnold.
Fuck yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, Emma Thompson. That's right.
You know what movie I've been really wanting to watch is Edge of Tomorrow again.
That's a good one.
Fucking so good.
I love that they didn't fuck that up in the editing.
Yeah.
Because how easy would that be to get confused with the editing?
Oh.
Man. They probably had a bunch of people look at it and go, okay, tell us if this starts to get stupid and you don't get it.
Yeah.
You know? Because it in order to keep the pace and keep people interested in watching it, when they jump back to the beginning when he wakes up again, you can't show the whole fucking thing. So they shorten that. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, they did a good job of only showing you enough to give you the taste that he's back again, but not bore you with repeating it.
And then it increases too, because remember that time when he's like trying to train for that thing and he just gets wiped out. Oh no, my leg's broken. You got to kill you. No.
Yeah. No, I can make it. I swear.
Same
like they threw a little comedy relief in there to kind of make it entertaining still.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. And then just the tones, like the DP of that, it's so well. Whoever that was, it was just a killer. And just
a good one.
Oh man, such a great movie. I've been super on a sci-fi kick as always, but even more lately. I actually went back and just purchased without watching again, just because I was like, fuck it. I remember this being good. The new Dread, or the newer Dread.
The newest one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
And it had what's his name from The Boys as the he was the lead actor in The Boys, that new show that show that's been popping.
Is it
Hold on. And
the guy with he's like Keith Urban's brother or whatever? Is it
yes,
Carl Urban?
Yes. What's his name?
Carl Urban, I think.
Let's see. Shit.
It's showtime.
Yeah, Carl Urban. Yeah.
I should make that the beginning of every episode. It's showtime.
But yeah, dude, Dread, fucking rad,
Is
man.
it?
Yes, and Carl Urban kills it. I love him as Dread.
My problem is I have it's not, what's the right word? Like I don't trust these remakes that are of movies from the 80s and 90s.
Me too.
So I'm against it like out of the gate. But I like I almost don't want to watch it because I don't want them to keep getting remade. And the only way to stop a movie from getting made is to not pay the filmmakers the money they spent. So and make it fail, so don't go. What other it's like voting for president. What do you have? What's the one thing you can do? Vote. Well, essentially by not going to the movie, you're downvoting it,
Vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever happen to be scrolling and you see it and you haven't seen it yet, I'm a
is
huge
it on
fan
platform
of
right now?
Sylvester Stallone. What's that?
Is it on something right now, Netflix or something? Where'd you watch it?
No, I just bought it, but it's super cheap. I think I bought it either on YouTube or Amazon, but it was like $2-3 or something. And I was like,
When's the last time you bought a DVD?
God, I don't even know.
Wow.
I think the last one I bought was when the San Francisco Giants won in 2012, I believe. Maybe.
Would you buy a DVD of the game?
Yeah, of like the whole game. The 24/7 kind of style. Yeah. Oh, that video is so good. But
do you remember?
That's the last time.
Do you remember like I think the last place I bought a DVD was there was this place in the Bay Area called Rasputin Records.
Hell yeah, it's still there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
So they would have like whatever they called the dollar bin kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you start rifling, and that was years ago. Anyway, I think Amoeba had one down here, but they're so like they Amoeba would pump up the retro thing so hard they could almost pull off like selling you an old movie at full price because it's so unique. It's like
exactly
this fucking movie should be $1, dude. Give me the DVD for $1, not $10.99. You fucking criminals, But you pay it because you're like, oh, it's a. It's the Criterion with the extra whatever, and now I'm stuck with this. I got these plastic bins under my bed with like probably over 1,000 DVDs.
My DVD collection is fat, bro. I have the sickest collection, but I as I was downsizing before I moved down to LA again, I just got rid of all my cases and then bought those big old CD booklets and then just literally have them in like
huge space saving.
Dude, 2 of them, man, just filled. But when I looked at all those DVD cases, I mean, you could have built a motherfucking fort out of that shit.
You should have done something with them, like I don't know what you could do, but like some sort of like build a house of cards type of thing, and then like drive through it or something.
Some modern art piece.
When you open them, just slight, so like a book, and then you just stack them all up.
That'd be sick.
Did you take the slip of paper out, or just the DVD you kept?
I did not. I recycled took them apart to recycle them, but didn't keep anything. Yeah.
I can't. I don't have the heart to take out the DVDs out of the thing and throw the paper away because, for some reason, to me, it's like if I'm going to keep.
Oh, me too. It was so hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I want to do that. In fact, I think on Instagram I saw some. You know how you see Amazon ads on Instagram, like shit that's on sale.
Yeah.
There's these little things. They're essentially what you did, you know, with the binder, but there's these sleeves. But you can take the paper out of the DVD case, the jewel case, and you put that paper and the DVD into this thing. But then now,
I like that.
So then you keep the paper with it, but it's flat, just like a sleeve, but it just has the paper in it.
I like that.
But it's like, you know, $20 for like 20 sleeves and like $1 each. I'm like, I don't want to buy
I think that's what I was running into when I was looking at Amazon. I was trying to figure out how to do that. And I think I did see those ones, but like you said, that the price added up so fast because, and I was like, fuck, I'm trying to do this as cheap as possible.
Yeah, I'm not trying to spend like $500 to keep DVDs. Like, goddamn.
But I do love the pictures, man. The pictures, I'm a big picture fan.
Yeah, it's like
if I had VHS, I wouldn't get rid of the
sleeve. Well, that's not hard because you can't make it any smaller.
Yeah, that's true.
The only VHS movies I guess I have some, but my favorite movies that I have that are still on VHS are recorded off TV, or I wrote on the spine in a Sharpie what movies on that. Yeah. That's so like special to me still, just to see it there.
Yeah,
I love that. And then you play it, and it's like all fuzzy, and then here comes the end of a commercial. It's like, you know, ABC, Night at the Movies, and then dun dun dun, and here comes the movie intro back in where you left off from the commercial.
So you would pause when the commercial would hit manually, and then unpause. Yep. Okay, yeah. I think I started doing that as a kid, and then I was like, man, fuck this. I'm just gonna let this motherfucking ride. And just
dude, after a while, you think like all the commercials, and you could if you pause during the commercial recording every time, you can put 3 movies on one VHS.
That's true.
I was like, I can get more movies on if I just sit through it and pause.
Very economical.
But it was easy. I think I remember sitting in front of the TV and pulling the VCR in a position where I could still chill. All I had to do was stick my finger out. I didn't have to get up, you know.
Did you ever edit using 2 VCRs?
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Yeah. You play on one,
the first,
and you like have the record head pause on the other. And
yes.
And then if the VCR would have
an audio input.
Sometimes they'd have an audio input, like it would either be an RCA or a 3.5 mil. But you could play you could go get a special sound effects CD, like at the Halloween store even. And then you just have to have that on pause, right where the sound effect, when you hit pause, on pause, the sound effect will go. And so you'd be doing like play, and you get ready and record, and sound effect, pause, and then pause that.
Yes. And then you get 3 scenes in, and everything's great, and then you accidentally hit record without play, and you get one sliver of that, and then you have to like go back to rebuild.
And if you rebuild on VHS, it doesn't guarantee you'll still sometimes see shit that you recorded come through like fuzzy.
Yeah. And the more you did it, the more it just like
blurred,
diminished the quality.
The magnetic tape or whatever the shit was.
Dude, it was wild. I used to I came up doing skate videos. That's kind of how I got into filmmaking. And
there's a guy I'm trying to get on the podcast that came up doing skate videos,
like Spike Jonze style, man.
He didn't do Spike Jonze style. He did videos for like I guess like Thrasher magazine when they would make like sponsor a video. His name is Jacob Rosenberg.
Sick.
He's a director now, a commercial director.
Sick.
Directs big commercials, but yeah, he came up with like his Instagram is all about it's like at Jacob Rosenberg or something, or you can just search Jacob Rosenberg, and he'll post. One of the things that he does that I it's kind of sick is I don't really know the skaters themselves, but he'll post. What does he do? He's got a thing called Raw Footage Friday, his little hashtag. And he'll post footage from like, old VHS footage or like old,
sick.
Super, like, not Super 8, but like 8mm video.
Yeah.
Of like footage from like some old Rodney Mullen at the Embarcadero, doing something off of some,
cool.
Whatever those super popular spots out there,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
Don's
like
Gap.
Yeah, it's like him filming these skaters that have been pro before no one even knew them, and they're trying to do tricks they couldn't land. It's like, damn, that's some legit old gold footage right there. He has all that.
I had so many tapes,
Yeah.
and I think I just lost as I kept moving. But man, I would love to have some of those tapes back to see some of those skate videos and stuff. Like literally, I would take my mom's big old shoulder one and go out and film. And I was always the one who wanted to film. And I was like, yo, we film this shit.
Dude, I would bring my camera. I'd bring my camera everywhere. People would be like, "Oh no, you're gonna do that again?" Just film everything.
Yeah. And you're gonna thank me someday.
And I'd buy the fucking little screw-on wide lens that was way expensive. I don't know how the fuck I got it, but if you go to those little fucked up camera shops that are like
in San Francisco, those little they have the Kodak yellow everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're a legit
just wall to wall.
Yeah, it's like they're all on display in like these mirror boxes to make it look like there's millions of lenses everywhere.
Yep.
And
then as you get in line to buy them, they then try to sell you some like rip-off cologne. You're like, whoa, what? I thought this was a camera store. Yo, we got the dope shit on cologne. Which got that Polo? You want some Tommy Hilfiger? Which one do you want? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how
all
much
I want
is it?
Is the lens.
Yeah.
They want sell. I guarantee you half the shit in there was stolen or fucking repoed or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Back then, I didn't care. I didn't know.
Like,
just give me that wide angle look, bro. I don't give a fuck. Everything's out of focus because that lens doesn't necessarily, like numerically or whatever, how the fucking thing focuses. This lens doesn't work, but I don't know because if it fits the lens, if it screws on, and you could tell like only shit would be in focus is kind of dead center, and then it would sort of like have this crystallized fucked up thing around the edges. Yeah, it's like whatever, film, just press record.
See, I almost want to make a film with a Super 8 camera. I found my old Super 8 camera.
Like film recently. Super 8 or Super 8 video?
Like the old video.
Yeah, the micro mini, either mini DVs were good because they're so small.
Or we gotta get the big ones.
The 8 Super 8, which was like between VHS and mini DV, was that mid-sized tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to record with that. That shit was tight.
I remember I got real hard on my dad one time because. So when I realized that Adobe Premiere, I didn't know how it worked, but I realized that you could edit at home. Like I'm like, if I get all these things, I know I need the camera. It's got to have FireWire out.
Yeah.
I got to have the software, but I got to have a computer that somehow whatever it takes is strong enough. I don't know what the fuck RAM was or processing, but it's got to be good enough to be able to handle the video. Like it's a ton of information. But I got my shit together. I got my dad to get me a camera, and then I fucking saved and I got a computer. And when I realized it was working, I plugged that shit in, I film, and then I import the footage. I thought I was like, I'm like, let's go film all day, all night.
Yeah. And what sucked is you had to go through and capture. You had to press fucking play and watch the scene, the whole tape, and hit record and capture. Like,
but you could do that. You could, if you knew. So if you kept notes while you're filming, what I would do is. So here was the trick that I don't remember where I learned it. Probably from somebody else, because I don't remember learning it myself. I remember someone telling me. But the tape. So the way the camera would deal with the tape, because there was the magnetic like data on there. If the tape was brand new out of the package, you put it in, you press record and stop. It would like label that part of the tape like 00001 to 0005 seconds, right? If you record again, it would like start a new thing, like a new time code, start from 0 again. But if the night before you go film, right, you put the lens cap on so it's just black or bars or generate bars in the camera sometimes. And you stripe the tape, they would call it. So you record time code across the whole tape from the very beginning to the end. Then when you record on the tape, no matter how much you record from that point on, the tape has already been striped and it's like baked into the tape now from 001 at the beginning to whatever number the tape ran out on. Then all day when you record, when you come back to Premiere and input, it'll be numerically the same going forward. It won't back up and start at 0 again.
Mm-hmm.
So you stripe the tape, and the day you record, if you're recording, you could make a little note, and you look in, you say that take on 001 to 02 was good. And if you stay on it while you're filming your short film and you come back to the computer, you could go in and punch in Premiere and tell it, capture from 01 to 02, from 06 to 08, and tell it what time code you wanted and say go, and it was plugged in, it would just go take those pieces only and put them to whatever drive you want. Yeah. So
how many clips?
However many clips you are on the tape. Yeah. It just has to be pre-striped and know that it's already numerically striped, so it doesn't go back.
Shit.
But if you're on your shit, and I only pulled that off a few times because, number one, you have to remember to stripe it. Number two, you have to have a notebook with you or something the whole time while you film and make a note of what take you wanted at what time code.
Yep.
So if you could do that, then all you had to do is go into Capture, like Adobe Capture, and open that little window.
Yep.
And say, give me this, and this, and you press go, and it would go, it would wind, it would go back to the first one, record, stop, transfer, save. It would just go through it all.
Wow.
You could automate that shit.
I had no idea. There was no YouTube talking shit like this back then.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody showed me that. Somebody showed me that. Man. I think I had there was a wedding video guy, I'm pretty sure. I remember delivering pizzas at this place, and in the same plaza was a wedding video guy on a second floor. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just going to go fucking ask him if he needs someone to do whatever the fuck, because he's going to have gear and shit, and I'm going to learn something. And so I went up there and I was like, I think I just said, I'm pretty sure that this was right when I was starting to trying to get Premiere going and because at the time Premiere was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because it's a timeline and audio. I didn't know enough to
yeah.
It was
especially if you're working with iMovie and shit, or Microsoft version.
iMovie wasn't even a thing yet. There were no
Video
iMovies.
Maker, whatever.
Yeah. Final Cut hadn't become legit. At least I didn't know about it yet, if it was. I think what I did is I went to that wedding video guy. I'm pretty sure I said, I'll do whatever you want for free if you just teach me Premiere. I think I just offered if you have a wedding, I'll go and do everything for free and work the whole thing. But it turns out I think he needed somebody, so he hired me to do a wedding, and then he would just hire me every so often for a wedding if it was big enough. But all I would do is put a mic on a thing and interview the family, so he had a little sound bites for the family to say, it's so happy, Jen and Steve, whatever. And but he had a girl in there, a young girl that was probably only a few years older than me, because I think I was 18 or 19. And she was his editor, graphic designer, everything on the computer. And she was all about, she would read Adobe magazine and learn shit as it came out. And she taught me a lot of these little secrets and tricks, and it helped me overcome that, keep me from being overwhelmed from Premiere. I was never big on computers, so to have that many buttons and options and shit, it's a lot to sort of bite into it when you're that young.
Yeah, that is. I think I started out on Microsoft's version or whatever, and my junior year in high school, which was pretty fucking dope. Now that I think about it, they had a video class that they offered, and it was so primitive, and the teacher was an amazing, awesome guy, super awesome guy. But I felt like he was very disciplined in the analog world. And at the time, Premiere had just come out, and video,
so he wasn't all about it.
Well, he was, but I think the learning curve, he was, in his probably mid 50s, I'd say.
So it's kind of over it a little bit.
Yeah, but for me, I was so in love with making films and so in love with getting digital now, because I used to be all fucking VCR to VCR, that I just started diving in and learning and studying and became pretty much, I don't want to say an expert, but the expert person in the class of 20.
You did, and to get people to be the guy with that. If you just knew the basics and you could get footage in and out and edit it, you're going to be the go-to.
Exactly,
because it's so
I was thinking
new,
it further of we can add audio. What?
Yeah, I'll put a soundtrack.
So it was cool, and I would often have the teacher kind of asking, what do you think? What do you think about this? And I'm like, how do you do this? And it was just a really cool experience, and again, it was so primitive. I think it didn't even provide cameras. I think we had to do our.
I don't remember ever having a camera in a class. I brought my own shit, but never in high school. A little bit in some college stuff did they have cameras to offer, but they weren't like, they were kind of behind the times cameras. It would get you there, but it would be a little bit more hassle.
Yep. Damn, that's so wild, man.
It's too expensive.
I love those memories when I think about like coming up and how what got me into film and trying to like trace my tracks of where I started, where I am, and all the tricks and trades and all the failures, and it's super fun.
That was a big moment for me. The digital video, when I remember. I remember not. I don't remember where I was, but I do remember a moment when I realized, I was like, okay, wait a minute. It was me like seeing the stars align. There wasn't a commercial that said, "Hey kid, if you have this, this, and this, here's what you can do." It was me saying, "What's FireWire?" So the camera, and I was like, "Wait a minute, wait." So you're saying I can plug the camera into the computer, and the computer can control the camera and see, and I just import it, and then I can edit and then shoot it back out, and it'll record it, like it'll lay it down on a track. And I was like, wait, so I can literally film anything and make it a movie. I can edit, precisely edit, and I can precisely cut the video and audio. I can insert sound effects to the frame that I want. I was like, wait a minute, this is crazy. Like,
yeah, that was a cool experience.
It made me want to go film shit. I'm like, we could do anything we want, dude. Because all you need is the camera, because everything else is there. I think the next big hurdle, or the next big like slap in the face, was something to do with the RAM and the amount of RAM you needed, because I remember cutting something that was like more than about 10 or 12 minutes, and that was like my limit of memory or whatever in the computer. So when the timeline was like over 10 minutes of running, for some reason when you export back to like your final cut, everything will go out of sync because the RAM wasn't. So I'd send it back to tape, and then everyone's lips would be moving, and it would and I'm like, and I get so pissed. I'm like, why the fuck is this thing not like when I play it on the computer, it's fine. I export it out of sync.
So what do you do? And at that time, there's no like forums that you can really search, right? Because forums were just kind of starting, and
there were a lot of magazines. I remember reading articles in magazines
that would talk about some issue that would possibly come up, or they would answer somebody's question from an issue before or something.
This was CEOs. I don't know. I mean, I guess. I really don't know. I think there was some trial and error in magazine. There was a lot of video magazines.
Yeah.
Video Editor, Adobe Premiere Pro magazine. There were so many magazines. There were a shit ton of articles about like lots of subjects.
And we had to go get magazines to look up the information, or books.
Or ask, I could fucking make a phone call. I think I would just ask people I knew, and they would give. There was a lot of like, what do you think I should do? And they'd give you advice, and you just go down a rabbit hole and just keep chipping away at trying shit until you figure your way through the shit. Yeah, which is crazy, because now you just ask fucking Google and everything's there, and YouTube. But there was a point in time where it's like, I don't know what to do. Nobody around here that's in the vicinity knows what to do. So you just keep fucking knocking until you get it.
Yep.
I do remember watching the tape and wondering, okay, how far out of sync is it? Okay, when he talks, it's like less than a second before the audio cues in, right?
That's so hard.
So I would bump the audio forward on the timeline in the hopes that it would fuck it up and make it line up.
Did that work?
I don't remember.
Smart,
I can't say.
Smart.
But it was like the most like, okay, if the square peg doesn't fit in the round, it's just like, it doesn't work, fit it, you just do something.
Smart. That's very smart.
I can't say that it worked, because I don't have a memory of being like, yes. I did get it to work eventually. I think I ended up, it scared me to open the box, because when I got a computer, I had saved up a bunch of cash and had a PC built with 2 monitors, specifically built for video editing, with the ports on front to all kinds of audio inputs.
Nice video card.
Yeah, you needed so much bullshit back then.
Dude, it's
the
so
front
crazy.
of the tower would have all these component bays and shit. And you're just like, you need all this shit. I'm like, why do I need all that shit?
Yep. Man. And now we're just sitting on laptops cutting 4K footage that comes from drones flying, 50 feet over the subject.
It's crazy the amount of
cutting it in your coffee shop.
I was, how they, I forget which mission it was, which NASA mission went to the moon, and the processing power on the shuttle was that of a calculator. I mean, how the fuck, dude?
Yeah, I read that, or I saw that on a documentary recently and just flipped out. And then seeing what a computer that had like 50 megabytes, how big this thing was. It was like, 4 feet by 4 feet. And you're just like, what the fuck?
And there was a girl that wrote the code, and there was like if you put the books one on top of the other, there's a picture of her. I forget her name. I'm sorry, but she's 5'6" or 5'5", right? And they stack all the books of code up for the space shuttle mission in the computer, and they're as tall as her. Binders of code.
I saw that picture. I
remember one day my dad brought home this drive. It was a tape drive. It took like these cartridges that were like audio, like tape, except thicker.
Yep.
Like an inch thick.
Yeah.
I forget what the cartridges are called, but it was memory. You write the memory, whatever your shit was, you're writing it to a tape. And that giant tape with that giant reel of tape in there was like 150 megabytes.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? 150 megabytes is this thick, like a sandwich. And you had to go kerchunk, and it would go and wind through the tape, and you'd find shit. Where is this thing? Let me find it for you.
Wow.
Fucking crazy. I wonder, like, solid state drive is kind of next thing. It's all solid state, so it's all fucking, so immediately you recall the data.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of the guys that we work with are always using the travel versions. Yeah. They're just
it's safer,
so nice.
It's quicker, and it's like way safer because there's no moving parts. So if you drop it or something, you don't lose all your shit.
So, oh god, there's so many times when I dropped a hard drive and it just won't turn. You just hear it.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, cool. Like the only way to recover this thing is from some fucking guy literally doing surgery.
Yeah,
and that's going to cost how much? Yeah,
it's not even worth it at that point. That's fucked up.
Yeah,
good shit. Yeah, man. Other than that, pretty good. Yeah,
I want to wrap it up.
I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
Hey, I'm just stoked to fucking keep it real with you, buddy. You're my man.
For sure. Yeah, man, that was fun. I always enjoy that. For definitely always down to jump on.
See you tomorrow night.
Actually, I think let's see, sometime in October might be cool because there's a lot of shit going down. So
cool.
Definitely gonna.
Are you working this week?
I'm working on a couple.
Are you doing your stuff?
Production style pieces. No, not yet. I actually did work on the book. And I'll show you the new book. I went through and started updating the copy on that, and then updated the photos and just been molding it even more. Mm-hmm. That it's looking really, really good. So I'll send that over so you can see that. And then from there, like I said, in October, going to be meeting with the Young. So nice. I think with that book,
looking forward to hearing what he has to tell you.
Yeah.
Take some notes and run.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I came up with a new idea too for a show. This will be off air, off the record.
Yeah.
I want to produce, and I don't know if I want to direct, but mainly produce a show where it's. Do you watch Chef's Table at all on Netflix?
Every time people have been telling me, and then I'll click on and see it, and I'll like fall asleep before I even press play or some shit.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
There's some. I mean, God, all of them are so artistically shot, but there's some incredible stories in there.
And we're back, and here's the intro. We just skipped over a bunch of shit that I had to edit out because it's all secret shit. The 1970 podcast.
Drop dead! I don't do requests.
Come on, you gotta get the Who's the Dad.
You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here, Hauser.
Look who's talking.
I suppose nothing hurts you.
All right, I'll end on that. Billy.
My man.
Love you. See you soon. We'll do it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk shit.
Oh, my man. Appreciate that.
See you, bro. Thanks again.
Peace.
Peace.